Hi guys, welcome to the Smiling Professor, my YouTube channel. My name is Bukola, and today in this video we're going to discuss how to start a business with no money. Welcome back again guys. So before I start this video, I would like to say please watch till the end of this video to find out how I use this strategy myself to start my business with no money, because I'm going to discuss my own example at the end of the video. So there are three types of businesses you can start with no money. The first one is a digital business, the second one is a service business, and the third one is a product-based business. So what is a digital business? A digital business is the use of technology to produce a digital product or service that you trade online. An example of this is you produce a course where you teach people how to code and you sell it online and you sell it over and over for profit. A service-based business is a business where you render services to people at a cost. Example of this is you start a cleaning business and you charge people to clean their houses, their offices, or you start a dry cleaning business. So now let's go to the final kind of business you can start with no money, which is a product-based business. So this is actually manufacturing a physical product that you sell to people who are your customers. So now that we know the three types of businesses you can start with no money, let's go to know what strategies you can actually use to start a business with no money. So first thing first, to be able to start a business with no money, you have to identify your strengths. So what are you good at? What are your present skills? What are your present strengths? Are you good in sewing? Are you good in tailoring? Do you know how to code? Do you know how to repair computers? So what are your strengths? So I'm hoping at this point you have more than one skill, because it leads to our next step, which is you have to narrow it down to one idea. And these are the factors you have to consider when you're trying to narrow it down. The first thing first is, what are the resources you have readily available to you, because you're trying to start a business with no money. So it's good to think of what you have readily available to you. I have an example. There is a graphic designer I know that started his business with just his laptop, and he started making logos for people and charging them, and that is how he started his business. So what resources do you have readily available to you? Then the next factor you have to consider is there a steady customer base for this business you're about to start that you can exploit? Is there a gap in the market that your business can fill? Because there's no need to start a business when there's no customer for it. So we go to the next step, which is you write out a business plan. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be something very complicated. It could just be a very simple business plan that states what business you're about to start, how much resources you have presently at the moment, who are your potential customers, and how are you going to reach them. The fourth point is, who are your competitors at the moment, and finally, how do you intend to make profit of this business. The fourth step is you promote the business with word of mouth and also using social media. So you inform your family, your friends, your loved ones, and everyone you know actually that you started a business and you want them to help you promote this business. Then you also put it on your social media handle and promote it to your followers or people you know on your Facebook and all of that. So we move to the final step, which is you use a pre-purchase strategy. So with this step, you get your customers to pay you a deposit for the good or the service before you actually deliver it. You use the money that they paid you to purchase the raw materials you would need. With this step, you have to be very careful. You have to make sure that you actually deliver on what you say you're going to do as a business. If not, your business is actually going to end before it starts. And it's very hard for new businesses to recover from bad press. So please always try to deliver on your promise. So these are the strategies you can use to start a business with no money. So now let me go to my own example on how I have used this strategy myself to start my business with no money. So during my undergrad years, I wanted to start a business, but I really didn't have money at the point. So I thought to myself, what skills do I presently have? Because I was quite young, I only had cooking, baking, and cleaning skills. So I decided that I wanted to start a cooking and a baking business. So I narrowed it down to cooking and baking. So what I did was I started baking in my hostel with the resources I had, because I cooked a lot anyway, so I had a lot of resources, and I made my friends my official tasters. So I would make a cake and I would give it to my friends to taste and try to get feedback from them. So please, if you're watching this video and I made you one of my tasters, please comment down below. So with this, I was able to perfect my recipe. And I went to the next point, which was I wrote out a business plan. So basically, I wrote what business I was about to start, which was baking and cooking. Then I wrote who are my potential customers. It was students, because a lot of students in my school then like to celebrate their birthday. So I was like, okay, I have a market for this business. And the third point was who were my competitors. So my competitors then were big supermarkets and malls, but they weren't located in my school, so that was a good thing. The last step of my business plan was how I was going to make profits of this business. I was going to make profits by selling this cake to my friends in school then. So I moved to the next step, which was I had to promote it. So I literally told all my friends in school, and they were so tired of hearing me, oh, I bake cakes. I encouraged them to give me the contract for their birthday cakes to make. And then some of them said I actually bullied them, but I encouraged them to give me the contract for their birthday cakes to make. So I made the cakes and I delivered it. But sometimes I had to give them free tasting just so that they could believe that I could actually make cakes. And finally, I used a pre-purchase strategy. So I got them to pay me deposit, and I used the money that they paid as deposit to buy the raw materials I needed for my cake. So in school then, my cake business actually grew very much. I started doing events in different hostels and halls, and most times in school people knew me more for baking, and they actually knew that I was doing chemical engineering. So if I ever sold cake to you during undergrad, please comment down below. These are strategies you can use to start a business with no money. In summary, the first thing first is you have to identify your strengths. So what are you good at? What skills do you have? And hopefully you have 2 or more skills. Then you narrow it down to 1 skills, using the factor to actually identify what resources you have readily available to you and take potential customers for this business you're about to start. Then you go to the next point, you write out a simple business plan, answering the question of what business are you about to start, is there customers for this business, and how are you going to reach them, who are the competitors of this business, fourthly, who are the competitors of this business, and finally, how are you going to make profit of this business. Then you move to the next step, which is you try and publicize this business as much as you can. So you tell everyone who wants to hear, or people who don't want to hear. You make flyers, just anything you can do to promote the business. Finally, use a pre-purchase strategy where you can get people to pay you deposits and use the money to buy the raw materials you need. So these are the strategies you can use to start a business with no money. If you have something to add to what I've already said, please put your comment down below. And if you have any other ideas on how people can start a business with no money, people would love to hear from you. So put your comments down below. I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel so far. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're new here, please consider subscribing so you can get weekly content from me. Thank you guys. Please also like and share these videos. Thanks guys. See you next week. Bye guys.